The person who I received to present on was Mikhail Gorbachev, who is Russian, and he was known for being the Secretary of Russia, and then he later on became the President of Russia. Machiavelli Gorbachev was born on March 2nd, 1931, in Privyoli, Russia, in a small village in an even smaller home, which was a one-bedroom home. Growing up, he was the first of his parents' children and the first grandchild, so he stated that he always felt a sense of leadership over the rest of the children that were born after. Gorbachev was very into singing, dancing, and acting at school, but because his parents were so strict, they encouraged him to succeed academically rather than in dancing and in the arts. He was also known to be a teacher's pet in class. So the teacher really was fond of him because she liked the fact that he was able to act older than he really was, and that also caused his classmates to look up to him. At the age of 10, Gorbachev underwent an attack from the German Nazis, and that killed 12 of his family members, so it really hit home for him. After graduating school with flying colors, Gorbachev went to study law in Moscow, Russia. So he graduated from Moscow University, which is in Russia, and that was also considered to be a very prestigious school. Almost inevitably, Giovanni became the General Secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union from 1985 to 1991 and President of the Soviet Union in 1990 to 1991. His efforts to democratize his country's political system and decentralize its economy led to the downfall of communism, which was one of the great things that he did in his term, and he was really widely known for doing that. And the breaking up of the Soviet Union in 1991. So he caused the breakup of the Soviet Union, which in turn today has brought a lot of good stuff to us. So it basically stopped the Soviet Union, which was considered to be really bad back then. In part because he ended the Soviet Union's post-war domination of Eastern Europe, Giovanni was awarded the Nobel Prize for Peace in 1990. Giovanni in 1987 through 1988 proceeded to initiate deeper reforms of the Soviet Union for their economy and political system. Under his new policy of openness, that's how it translates in English, a major cultural thaw took place. Freedom of expression and of information were significantly expanded. The press and broadcasting were allowed to unprecedentedly candor in their reportage and criticism. So they were able to share their opinion on political matters. So he basically gave the press and other critics their voice. So he gave them the ability to be able to voice their opinions. Under Giovanni's policy of reconstructing, the first modest attempt to democratize the Soviet political systems were taken. So basically, he wanted the Soviet Union to not only be democratized. So just a quick timeline on Giovanni. In 1952, he joined the Communist Party of the Soviet Union and worked in various positions in the party for the next 2 decades. And then in 1955 through 1958, he became the first secretary of the Communist Party of the Stavropol Komsomol City Committee. In 1963, he became the chief of the agriculture department in his region. In 1970, he was named the first secretary for the Communist Party in his region. In 1970 through 1990, he was the deputy of the Supreme Soviet, which is the highest legislative body in the Soviet Union. In 1971, he became a member of the Central Committee of the Communist Party in the Soviet Union. March 11, 1985, he was elected to the General Secretary of the Communist Party in the Soviet Union. In this post, he is effectively the leader of the USSR, which is the Soviet Union, basically. In 1985 through 1988, he participated in a series of summit talks with the U.S. President Ronald Reagan. In 1987, he signed the Intermediate Nuclear Forces Treaty with the United States to limit nuclear weapons. So he really had his objectives in the right place. He wanted to keep peace throughout all countries, and he was against war. So I believe that's one of the great things that he did, and that happens today. Most countries are quick to jump into war, and they always think war is the answer. Whereas he wanted to solve that and limit all the nuclear weapons because he knew he couldn't just snap his fingers and ban all nuclear weapons, but he knew that with this treaty was the first step to that. And in 1989, he announced the withdrawal from the Soviet Union from Afghanistan. So once again, he was just stepping back from war. He didn't think that war was the answer for everything. And then in 1987 to 1990, he was the chairman of the Supreme Soviet, which was also a very high position in the Soviet Union. In 1990, he became president, so he became the highest, but that didn't last for long because he resigned in 1991. But throughout his term in 1990, he won the Nobel Peace Prize again. It's the same prize, but still, the fact that he won it during his presidency just goes to show how great of a president he was. Just to answer a few of your guys' questions, his scar on his head, which is a really big trademark for him, it's actually just a birth defect.